everyone, and welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast. We are live with our Monday Night Raw review, as is happening, live stream, I should say, for Monday night, March the 3rd, 2025. And I will have a good friend of mine will be on with us shortly here in just a few minutes. But we're going to go ahead and get started. It is just after 8 o'clock, and the show is about to begin. We're getting our video packages now. But thanks to everyone that is live with us on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube, as always. And we are very excited to have you. We have a lot to talk about, not just the show tonight with some great matches, great main event tonight, but so much happened this past Saturday at the Elimination Chamber. So much we got to dive into. Almost don't know where to even start, but I'm going to go ahead and start with just a quick word from our sponsor, Nashville Tax Solutions. Whether you need to file years of missing returns, a current year return, or you need relief from a tax lien or levy, Nashville Tax Solutions has the solution for you. Our expert team of tax professionals are dedicated to providing personalized solutions tailored to your unique situation. Don't let tax problems weigh you down. Contact Nashville Tax Solutions today and let them guide you towards a brighter financial future. Please call Nashville Tax Solutions with offices in Palm Bay and now in Fort Pierce at 855-627-4829 and check out their website at nashvilletaxsolutions.com, or you can just send an email to info@nashvilletaxsolutions.com. Nashville Tax Solutions, where tax resolution is achieved. And so, yes, again, shout out to them for believing in us from day one. We had just under 50 subscribers, and now we are sitting here at over 1,800 subscribers. And it has been a great ride. Just had our 1-year anniversary yesterday on the show. So much to look forward to here in year number 2, continued growth. But again, that wouldn't be possible without each and every one of you. So thank you guys for joining us, whether you're watching, like we said, on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for being here with us live. And Robert will be joining us pretty shortly to kind of talk about some stuff. But we know the main event tonight is Io Sky challenging Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, with the winner going to WrestleMania to take on the winner of the Women's Money in the Bank match from Saturday night. And so that is going to be a great main event. No doubt, I'm sure that will be the main event tonight. But that's not all. We have a World Tag Team title matches tonight as well. We are going to see the Alpha Academy challenge the War Raiders for the WWE Tag Team Championships as well. So a stacked show tonight. And we also have Ivy Nile challenging for the Women's Intercontinental Championship against, of course, Lyra Valkyrie. So 3 big title matches live on the show tonight with huge implications going into WrestleMania. Of course, Master Gable is out scouting the best talent in luchadors. So this is kind of like their last chance, the Alpha Academy, to capture any kind of gold. So, but what a great way to start the show. CM Punk is not in a good mood. He is not smiling. He is angrily grunting as he walks in. I'm sure looking for Seth Rollins. I don't anticipate seeing John Cena for the foreseeable future, but Seth Rollins cost CM Punk his WrestleMania main event spot. So he's just going to walk straight out to the ring, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we're getting. CM Punk is coming out there, and this is a promo that I'm probably not going to talk too much during, because this is going to be something that you want to hear. So I'm going to let him do the talking for the most part in this part. And of course, during the breaks and through some of the matches, we will recap what happened yesterday on the show, on Saturday night. So, he just snatches the microphone out of the reporter's hand, and he is tearing apart the announce desk, knocking down the prime bottles. So, the intensity is there already. We're not even 5 minutes into the show. Oh boy. He's talking about just getting them canceled off of Netflix.
seem to think that I have exhausted all opportunities of main eventing.
He's talking about exhausting all his opportunities of main eventing. So he's asking who the first target is tonight for them to approach. And of course, I'm sure that'd be Seth Rollins. The final boss. Hello, Rob Barrino. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. I got sound now.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes. So I did the intro and everything because I want to make sure I started right at 8 like usual. So we did the and so we're now listening. So we're listening. So I'm going to kind of let CM Punk do the talking here as I kind of listen on, and then I'll kind of tone everyone in that's watching.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
CM Punk is referring to The Rock, of course, he wants to address The Rock, but of course he's not there. So he is getting the crowd behind him, getting the chant of CM Punk, of course, and so now he is referring to John Cena. So, and I can't wait for that John Cena promo, but we're not going to get that for a while because he's back in Africa already, filming his next movie. It's want to on your end lower the volume just a little bit so there's not so much of an echo.
Oh.
I have mine on like kind of low.
Is that better or?
Yeah, that's better. Okay. I mean, I still want you to be able to hear it, of course, but
yeah.
And shout out to you guys watching along. We have 43 people on with us right now watching on combined between Facebook, X, and YouTube. So thank you guys. I have the captions on as well, so I can kind of, if I can't necessarily hear what he's saying.
I'll be right back.
So we are watching CM Punk continue to go off on the cameraman. So Punk is referring to, of course, eventually getting his hands on both The Rock and John Cena.
The person who totally has all my undivided attention, little brother Seth Rollins.
So now he is, of course, referring to Seth freaking Rollins, who cost him.
If I do before you do, I'm going to put in a wheelchair. Seth Rollins, go.
Oh, here we go. Right off the bat, Seth Rollins is going to come, and Punk is not going to wait for him in the ring. There we go. And they are attacking each other. Okay, and the referees, of course, are going to pretend like they know what they're doing here.
Okay, I'm back. You know, it's surprising to me how much fuel this feud has after they've been feud. I mean, they've had a lot of heat for years.
Yeah, they've only had one-on-one match so far, so it's still fresh. But I like this a lot. Now, I'm interested to see if Roman Reigns gets intrigued. I don't think he has to be. I think if it's just these two in a match, I think it's fine. But I think if you throw Roman Reigns in there, so what I think is going to happen here is potentially CM Punk cashing in that favor with Paul Heyman and somehow getting himself inserted into this somewhat triple threat match at Mania, which could still main event on night one, even if they're not. It's not for a title. But and what's so good about this is it's a true feud. Like they're professionals, they'll do business in the ring, but they straight up don't like each other. So it's not like this is just Punk is delusional. He looks like he's losing his mind, and as he should. And I can't wait. We'll break down the Elimination Chamber here during some.
Oh, I can't either. That was you were spot on earlier when I texted you. It was literally the best chamber.
Yeah, from top to bottom, honestly. So we'll get into that, but we're gonna continue to keep our eyes here on this battle. These security guys who show up every week, 3 or 4 times a show, do nothing. I'd love to know which gym they find these people at to come in and pretend to be security.
Yeah, it's funny to me that they even have security. Because, I mean, are they even doing their job? Because every time they come out, there's like 10 or 12 guys, but they still fight.
Yeah, they've never stopped a single fight in the history of...
If those are security guards, they...
Isn't it crazy, though? Because prior to SmackDown last week, we had very, very little interest in WrestleMania. Like, we knew it was going to be good, but there was nothing really selling the show. But between Friday and Saturday, and now just right here, they've managed to sell you. There's potentially, and we'll talk about it, potentially 9 matches just built from Elimination Chamber and tonight already. And whereas a week ago we had nothing besides 1 match.
Easily.
They really built WrestleMania up. No.
And to think they obviously they had it planned out for a while, but to think that they really unleashed all this within a matter of a week? I mean, it managed to really ramp it up.
Yep. Oops.
All right, I finally got set up here. I had to fix everything. We're good though.
Okay, cool. You got everything good. Yep, and we are live on all the places. Yep, sounds good. So, okay. Yep, we are up to 50 viewers. Thank you guys for watching along. Mostly on X right now. So thank you.
And thanks for having me on, Mike.
Yes, of course. This is. Let's see what we got. So, all right, we're on our first commercial break. So now we can chat a little bit. So I want to start, Rob, and get your opinion. So do you remember, of course, and I say this rhetorically, but do you remember the end of Bad Blood when The Rock came out and he did the throat slash? You remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
You remember when he held up 2 threes? You remember that part?
The 2 threes.
So then they completely didn't mention it for months. And it was like, did they do that just to get him on camera and have no plans? And then Friday happens and then talk about selling his soul and Cody Rhodes and everything like that. So fast forward to the Elimination Chamber. Of course, so Cody does not sell his soul. But instead, we see what happened with John Cena, shocking the world, perhaps the biggest heel turn in professional wrestling, perhaps even more than Hulk Hogan with the NWO, because Cena was 23 years fan favorite here and makes that switch over, right? But then as you're thinking, what does John Cena hold up before he does his one of his finishing moves? It's the three.
The three.
And so whether they intended that to be it from back in October or not, the way that they were able to tie that in is perfect storytelling.
Now, if you were to ask me months ago when this happened, I probably would have said you're crazy. I don't see
crazy. Yeah,
a heel turn for John Cena on his farewell tour. get real. But what better way for him to end his career after being the face for the for the entirety of his career, pretty much. I mean, I think that he had one not so good heel run in the beginning. I think they tried, but it wasn't very successful. And obviously, the face turn and he became the face of the company for years. But if you would have asked me, I would have said that you were nuts. But to be honest, now this is what I thought when I saw this going down. If you remember, what was it in 2018 when The Rock and John Cena had a feud and they were going back and forth with the Fruity Pebbles and The Rock not being in the company and calling it home and then leaving for Hollywood and everything. And then I think it was a documentary they had a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, where Cena was like, "No, I understand why The Rock did what he did because I basically up and did the same thing. I'm a hypocrite, all this stuff." And I just think it was a really nice. I just think it was a really nice loop back into the whole thing where they started out as like these huge enemies that were feuding, and now they're like partnering up. I don't know. I think it's like one giant circle. It's pretty cool how it all tied in.
Yeah, that's true. And you could look at it and go, how can they do this? Is his last year, but like perhaps John Cena's wanted to do this all along, and he was never given that opportunity under Vince McMahon. Think of the merch they're going to sell. Think of just how much can come from this. And think of that. Thank you. And but I still feel there's like a case for a redemption story, right? Like I could still see he's almost like he's possessed almost. So I can see at least by the end of December, whether it's after SummerSlam, Survivor Series, you can still see a case where Cena can turn back to the light side before the end of that year. There's no guarantee, So.
And we got the reactions from people. Oh, my face when that happened, I was probably every bit as shocked as everybody else. But
yeah, no, definitely. And what's cool is they're showing some people's reactions and stuff to that. Like, and one of them is one guy that I had watched for a while on the show there, like the instant reaction to them. How cool is that to be able to watch and to see yourself? Like his name was Wrestling Days or whatever, and he was the first guy they showed his initial reaction. So that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah. Another thought that I just had with Rock and Cena. So The Rock left for Hollywood, and then Cena made fun of him for it and called him out. And basically, Cena did the same thing. I wonder, because The Rock, I guess you could say, for his time after Austin, and I mean, for his time and era and everything with, I think it was the Ruthless Aggression, between the years of 2002 to 2005, 2006, something like that. I guess you could say he was the Cena of his time, and then they just kind of. It's like, well, we got the two Hollywood guys teaming up now.
Yeah, I love it, and I don't know what Travis, whatever his name is mixed in there. Now
Travis Scott.
I did see when he hits Cody, he forgot that you're not supposed to hit him that hard. Like he really hit him a little bit too hard.
And you heard it too. It was kind of it was a smack with an echo.
Yep. And so right now we're seeing the highlights when Liv and Raquel won the women's tag team championship. So let's go there next. So at the beginning of the women's chamber last night, right away, as soon as Naomi's in the ring and Liv is in the ring, they're about to start the chamber match, and Jade Cargill makes her return.
Oh my goodness.
That was brutality. And so we'll watch this segment real quick, then we'll get back to that. I kind of like the Carlito shirt. I'm not gonna lie with the that's not cool with the apple.
But yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, man, I might get it.
He's really not doing much at all on TV, but
I think it's more or less for nostalgia.
yeah. So basically, we're just having some Judgment Day conversation. So we'll get back to that real quick. So Jade Cargill comes out, and you think she's going to go after Liv, but she goes and takes down, of course, Naomi, and beats the crap out of her for about 5 minutes, long enough so that by the time they get Naomi out of there, the first pod opens. Now, do you feel like 100% that Naomi was the person who did it? Because they didn't really, they could go there, of course, it would make sense, right? But it really wasn't 100% proven that either. I guess we're not going to know until Friday, because I love the reaction of her tag team partner Bianca in the corner, like going nuts, like, what are you doing? You know, so do you feel 100% it's definitely Naomi and she's going to do her own thing, or do you feel like there's still other pieces to the puzzle that we don't know?
I would say let's give or take another week or two. I think there's still some puzzle pieces missing, possibly. Now, could it be Naomi? And that was the confirmation we got last night. I can see that too. I think the door's open for some changes, though, if they want to make one. Like, I think what they've been doing is they've been taking the reaction of fans like us, and they're like, oh, well, we're doing this, but if they don't really like it, we kind of cater to the crowd and cater to the people. What do the fans want? What do they love? Let's change something. And we saw it with Cody Rhodes and The Rock and WrestleMania a few years ago. They completely changed the whole thing because everyone hated the fact that The Rock was like, oh, I'm coming in and taking the spot just because I'm The Rock. But I think they're leaving the door open just a little bit. But I think, yeah, just a little bit.
I think so too. I agree. And I love this. We're seeing Gunther having a match 2 weeks in a row. I love that. Like, because I felt like he can't just talk week after week with not even having. Now, there's no chance that Otis wins here, obviously, but I love the fact that they're at least having him in the ring competing, because that's what he does best. He's really good on the mic, but he's best in the ring.
He's way better in the ring. I think his mic skills could use some work. Obviously, I'm saying that in comparison to some other greats on the mic, but I mean, he's not bad. His in-ring performance is definitely better.
Yeah, he's best on the mic, I would say, when he's got that sarcastic grin, like, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for this, this Alpha Academy, just it's really directionless at this point. They're just kind of there, but the crowd loves them both, so they're probably not going anywhere. But you do feel bad a little bit for Otis. Like, he's kind of stuck right now.
Well, we've seen them do it for years. I mean, obviously it was under Vince McMahon, until somebody gets acclimated and starts gaining some star power. They form a group, put them in with the group, and see how everything goes until something clicks, and then they move them off on their own and give them some sort of direction. They could be doing that.
Yeah, they could be, for sure, definitely. And hello, we see the better half has just joined us. Eileen says hello.
Hey,
hello.
I'm glad to hear.
Yes, and we are. So yes, we're about to see Gunther take on Otis in the ring here. Otis is someone who I know back when they had the whole storyline with Chad Gable and stuff, he really felt like he was about to make that next level, and it just didn't kind of pan out for whatever reason. He's kind of been stuck with Tozawa, and but see, you gotta love. I mean, there's no.
I think they're trying to give him more time to develop. Obviously, they see something there, and they don't want to give up just yet, or they don't want to give up at all because he has so much potential. And you can tell just by seeing it. He's very charismatic. Just his presence alone, you can feel the electricity from that. And
yeah,
I think he's going to be great.
As long as you get a reaction from the crowd, doesn't matter if you're winning a single match, they're going to keep you on the roster. You're not getting released if you're making an impact. And so Tozawa and Otis are still connecting with the audience, so that's really all that matters. So
Somehow.
here we are with our opening match now on Raw. So a little bit, a little bit quicker. Sometimes, Raw's been known to have one match. The big news coming out today, as Gunther and Otis are trading shots in the corner. I don't know if you got a chance to see this, Rob, but big news today is that Penta, his tag team partner, Ray Phoenix, was finally released from AEW this morning. So now Penta will have his potential tag team partner, Ray Phoenix, who is as good as it gets when it comes to, Penta is here, but Phoenix is like 2 levels up in terms of potential with his agility and whatnot. And I dare say better than Rey Mysterio, which is a high praise. So my early thoughts here is we're going to see a tag team match at WrestleMania between the New Day and Penta and Ray Phoenix, the Lucha Bros, which is a dream tag team match if there's ever a dream tag team match. So hopefully he makes his way straight to the WWE Monday Night Raw roster. But so that was the big news coming out of today, is that Ray Phoenix is now a free agent. I'm sure it won't be long before he gets scooped up.
I think a really good direction. Now, if they're smart about it, this is my take, and let me know if I'm wrong. I think it would be really awesome to implement Ray Phoenix. Like if somehow they got Penta in a feud with, or just it started out as like, oh, New Day comes out and they're interrupting, or they're trying to get their spotlight, and for some reason they push Penta's buttons the wrong way, and then they start ganging up on him, and then all of a sudden Ray Phoenix comes out, and there it is. Like, now you have your tag team match set. I mean, that would be really.
You gotta wonder though, because Penta is he's doing very well. He's very successful as a singles competitor. I'm sure he wants to be with his brother, but he is doing great right now. So if it doesn't happen overnight, that's okay, because Penta is doing great things, undefeated in short period of time. But now I don't know if they technically count last week as a loss. He wasn't the one that got pinned. He didn't win the match, but he didn't get pinned either. So technically he's still undefeated, I guess you would say. But
yeah, I don't think that he should lose right now with the heat that he has. I think it would kind of dull his shine a bit. And I like what they're doing. I do. Keep them undefeated for a little bit, give them some leadway, and then put them up against somebody, and then allow them to lose, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then you're kind of like, it's the nail biter for him clawing his way back up to the top sort of thing. I think that might be a direction they go with that too. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's good to know, because Tony Khan was holding on to Penta. He technically Penta could have possibly stayed as long as December on the AEW roster just because of time added due to injury. So it was a lot of pettiness from Tony Khan for months, but finally he realized, like, we're not doing any good keeping this guy hostage here. He's going to be just as hot in December as if he's released now. So, props, at least, even though it was way too long. That he's finally releasing the talent that just doesn't want to be there. If the talent doesn't want to be there, then let them go, because they have plenty of talent on their roster. So they have much bigger problems right now, like having us care about a single thing that they do on that show is the challenge. So, I used to watch it week after week. I haven't watched a single episode in months. It's just not interesting. There's no story. It's just same old, and so. Hopefully they can turn things around, because competition is best for business. WWE would only be better if the competition is better. But right now, the competition, I would even say that TNA is more interesting. And I don't watch TNA, but is more interesting than what AEW is trying to do. So
we had AJ Styles came from TNA, and then obviously Ring of Honor. He wrestled around the circuit, but he got really big in TNA.
Samoa Joe as well. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Samoa Joe. Just a couple, man. And I know they took a lot of the older guys. Like your Jeff Jarrett and Chris Jericho went there for a little while. Kevin Nash. I think Scott Hall went over there for a little bit. TNA started to spark up, and then they kind of lost their heat. I just think
Right
they
now,
tried
though,
to.
yeah, with them partnering with WWE, the eyes are on their product right now too. So that's it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah,
Getting to see the Hardys last week in NXT was awesome. So, but we do have Gunther and Otis continuing to that was a kick. Holy! Oh, I thought it knocked him out. Okay.
yeah, I thought so too. That was brutal.
Yep. So, do you see, Rob, with any chance that Gunther retains at WrestleMania?
Oh boy, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I think this is the if Jey Uso loses, I would say that'd have to be it for a while. I mean,
Yeah,
how many
because-
more chances do you give him?
Exactly. And I kind of would hope that I don't know what it would be, but I wouldn't be hate if there was some sort of like stipulation match because they've had 3 matches. I don't see that happening. But unfortunately, it doesn't feel like I don't know. It could be the main event, maybe to send the crowd home happy and eating. But I feel like that's more of an, they might start night 1 off with that, or maybe midway through. But I guess we'll see. But this is a really intriguing match. So, like obviously, like we said earlier, we know what the outcome's going to be, right? But this I don't recall seeing this match before. So these are
Definitely a good. This is definitely a good time to take notes, especially on Otis.
Uh-oh. Yep. Uh-oh.
He's hulking up.
We said the same. That was good. Oh, this is good TV right here. Nothing better than meat slapping meat. Okay.
And those are real slaps too. They don't play around when it comes to that. That's real.
No, they do not.
I think it was Undertaker recently. I catch a few of his. He's got a really good podcast, and a 6 Feet Under, I think.
Yeah, it is really good.
It is, and I love when I catch certain clips when he's really talking about some of the heart of the stuff that you just wouldn't expect him to talk about. And one of the main points that they had on the show was the slaps, and he said, "Man, I forget what it was. I forget who it was." And he said, "Yeah, I wouldn't let anybody smack me like that." He said, "No."
Nope.
Oh my goodness! So a big guy like him doing the work, very athletic, a little awkward, but
he just kind of collapsed there after that third wiggle.
gotta give him props though.
Yes.
That was pretty good. Ooh.
It's funny. Just at a quick glance, it looks like Otis's feet are half the size of Gunther's too, which is kind of funny. If you look.
Oh, Gunther's probably wearing size 13s at least.
Yeah. It looks like Otis is repping those 9s or 10s.
Custom made shoes because his feet are so tiny.
What is she wearing? Okay. That blue hat. Okay. Oh. I'm not going to pin Otis with a clothesline. He's got more respect than that.
What are your thoughts on Gunther? Obviously, he's not bad, but I don't know if it's just me and from what I'm used to, maybe it's the type of wrestlers I like, and other people obviously would. I guess it's preferential, but I don't. When I think of Gunther and I watch him, I don't see I don't see someone who is top tier. Mid card for me. I don't know. I just don't find anything too special about Gunther.
So the thing with Gunther is he's not what's the word? It's not there's no energy radiating from him.
No, he's dull.
I think
Kind of.
I think it's okay to have those characters every once in a while. He kind of reminds me, and nowhere near in the size wise, but like reminds me of like a King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd kind of guy.
Oh,
where
yeah.
like there's definitely talent there. He can put on banger matches, but he's more of his stature, and I think if you really look at it, he's lost 2 matches only on his entire run, which were to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania and to Cody Rhodes in Saudi Arabia. So they're protecting him. So I think, if nothing else, because of his stature, of his record being what it is, that he is believable as a world champion. I'm fine with him being world champion because he is good on the mic, but I think you're just like, all right, you want to beat this guy so bad, so like by him winning so much, when the moment finally happens, then it makes it a big moment. But I agree, in terms of like excitement, I'm never like, oh, I can't wait to see this exact match, per se. But he always does bring it. His matches are great, but he's more of like just get in the ring and gets it done. This Jey Uso energy, there's nothing like it.
I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, with the entire crowd getting involved, since maybe, and I know I bring it up probably quite a bit, but Austin got pops like that quite a lot. And The Rock, when he was a really good face, I think right before, what was it? Right around, no, it was right before the invasion. He was wasn't he a face right before then? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. he used to get the crowd like that too.
And we're watching Jey Uso take down both Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Austin Theory is a guy who was like under Vince was like the next main event thing. Like he was being pushed to the moon in that short time. And
what happened with that?
Under Triple H, he's just kind of an afterthought. So,
but look at the rug burn on his knee.
Oh wow, yeah,
he must have got it bad.
He had a bandage on at the start of the match, so I noticed that it was already there.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's pretty bad.
He had it kept. The poor crowd just wanted to yeet a little bit longer. Then
I know. Every time he comes out, I'm always like, let's go. I have to get a couple in too,
It's got to be hard though to, because they've got to wait till the middle of April. Here we are, still early March, so we still got a long ways to go. But it does seem like Gunther stands tall most weeks with Jey laying down on a mat. So
that's how I feel like that the face, I guess this is face versus heel, but anytime that's always happened, you can almost always guarantee the person that's getting beat and put down week after week after week right before a main event match like that, that person's going to win. General.
Yeah. And what do you call it? And it seems on social media did really enjoyed that match. They're saying it was a good little banger for what it was. So
yeah, it was a nice kickoff to Raw for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a hot show. It hasn't been a down moment yet.
So since go ahead.
Oh no, that's what I was saying. It's been great. So you're good.
Since we're seeing kind of like a preview with Rhea Ripley and stuff, I kind of wanted to talk about the chamber match for the women. You want to talk about an elimination chamber event that from top to bottom? I would almost have to say the women's was, I mean, kind of better than the men's, in some sense, but it was really good.
I agree. I think it was.
I really there's a lot more. The story you talk about. I think you mentioned it not too long ago. Oh, they need to do something with the women's side. It's kind of like you got a couple. You got Rhea and maybe Liv or whatever. but nothing like concrete, not enough. But then last night happens, and you're like, what did I just watch? This is like all the stops pulled out.
Yep.
From the bullwhip. Oh, the bullwhip was brutal. That it made
that
me
was
cringe.
Liv Morgan's best match I think she's had on the main roster.
Yeah.
And not
easy.
that she's had bad matches. She's had good matches, but that was the best that she's ever looked. She was definitely the MVP of the Elimination Chamber. But the amount of, like, you're right, the amount of stories now we have potentially, have Bailey and Roxanne potentially. You potentially have Jade Cargill versus Naomi. And then, of course, you have Bianca versus the winner of tonight's match, which I feel like somehow it will be a triple threat match before it's all said and done. I don't know how we get there, but I don't feel like they're going to leave Rhea or Io off of WrestleMania either. So
No.
somehow, with some shenanigans, somehow it's going to get turned into a triple threat match. I just don't know how they're going to get there.
Or they could let's see, who was it? So I don't know. I guess you could say a triple threat. I think that's probably a good assumption.
Yep. So I'm going to put this here. Let's see. Punk.
And I want to take a moment too, because we haven't talked about him, and we're on commercial. I can't get enough of it. I might go rewatch just because it was that good. But the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens match. What were your thoughts? And what did, I don't know. It blew my mind. But what I want to know what your reaction was.
I'm almost out of breath watching that match. I was like getting out of breath. I'm like, how are these guys doing what they're doing at such a high level? Because we know they're legit good friends, right? Like that's
story,
that's
they're like brothers.
Yeah. So to turn it on to that level, to be able to execute and have that believability that these two guys hate each other. But that match, in my opinion, was the match of the night. As good as the female chamber match was, I think, because it was a unique situation with it being an unsanctioned match and whatnot, and the history there. So I would put that match of the night. I think the right person won for right now. But they made you believe several times that Sami Zayn was going to pull it off and beat his nemesis and all that stuff. But just everything from the barbed wire spot where Kevin Owens was playing off that he had that eye injury, to just some of the spots they did with the table spots and the hockey pucks. Like, you love to see who's putting all these things under the ring, right? Like there's all these goodies under there. But to me, it was the epitome of like how important those two guys are on your roster. I don't care. I guess I'll say it this way. You can have your Cody Rhodes, your CM Punks, your Seth Rollins, all that stuff. But if you don't have your Kevin Owens and your Sami Zayn, then you're not going to be sustainable. Like those are the guys that put in the work. Everything that they say, you believe what they're saying every single time. You believe it, good or bad or indifferent. And they constantly reinventing the wheel in terms of like how to get people over and stuff like that. So I absolutely loved that match, and I was exhausted. I needed some water after watching that match. So
I agree. I just don't know. And for them to be able to go out and put on a show with the chamber afterwards and still make the best of the night, and coming back from that, because that was a lot of heat. That was more than a 5-star match. But I was like, how do you top this? And they still did. But all like you said, overall, it was just top to bottom. You can't beat it. You can't.
No, not at all. And where they go from here, obviously, Randy Orton comes out and at the end of the match, and he takes his time getting into the ring because there's no rush to get into the ring after, he's gonna stalk his prey, right? And I loved every bit of their interaction, and I love the tease that we didn't get the punt, but the tease of the punt, because they feel like we'll have that payoff at WrestleMania. But just the tease of the punt alone was great. And then the camera work was great because you didn't see that anyone was about to come in the ring from where the camera was. And then, of course, last second they get in the ring and
I was about to bring that up too. I was really hoping for the punt. That was definitely a vintage Randy Orton. I don't know. He's so good, and
it
just
feels like he
looking,
gets bigger every time, like not in a
yeah.
just built like a brick. Yeah.
That guy went from a twig to a brick. I mean, he's a powerhouse. If I were to see him face to face in real life, I don't know. It would. He definitely gives you a little bit of a fright. Just kind of seeing him is just his demeanor.
And it's a lightweight fighter that I've never heard of. Okay. So now they're showing the infamous.
Oh boy, this was. It was so hard to watch. What made it really hard for me to watch was just him laying there lifeless and then getting whipped. Every time he does that with the belt, I'm like, do they talk about it beforehand? Like, I'm going to give you this many lashes with the belt, or does it just kind of happen? And how hard he hits him, I don't know. I feel like there is some anger behind that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, I don't know how detailed they're. Like, specifically, I want 4 lashes. They might call it in the match, like, go at it again, hit me again.
And the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Let's see his direction for WrestleMania.
I don't know if this was brought up. I don't know if it's been talked about. But one of the fun facts about AJ Styles is a lot of the guys that you see that perform these high flying, these high risk maneuvers and certain styles of wrestling, they basically mimic some kind of. I mean, he paved the way for all that. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've obviously there was like your Rey Mysterios and stuff, but I mean, he really took. I mean, a lot of guys kind of watched him and a lot of the moves and everything that you see people doing today have come from something from him. I mean, he's kind of paved the way for that. That's what makes him so great.
We're getting a Karrion Kross AJ promo here in the back. I do like what they're doing with Karrion Kross. Like, I don't know how it's going to translate in the ring. So they're basically paying him to just talk backstage at this point. But I do feel like they're righting the ship with him. Like, he was becoming where it was so irrelevant, and now it's very interesting that he's always seeming to be pulling strings, whether it's with Sami Zayn, whether it's with the New Day. So we're now getting the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. And do you see any scenario where Ivy Nile wins the championship tonight? I can't imagine that happening. But
I don't know. Maybe. It is hard to believe, but I've seen them do crazier things, Yeah. I'm sorry, but every time I see Ivy, I think of Luna. It's hard to not.
Yeah. I don't know where they go from here if she doesn't win, but I mean, Lyra, I feel like your first ever champion has to have the title longer than a month and a half, 2 months. So to me, Becky Lynch is the one to face Lyra at WrestleMania. How we get there, I don't know. She's not even back yet, but I think that's the match. But
Yeah, I don't see her losing the title, honestly, but you never know. Anything can happen.
yeah,
I do think that they picked the right person to hold the first ever women's Intercontinental Championship.
yeah, it's on Triple H's team to get the crowd invested in the story with them. But sometimes, though, it's okay to have a championship that's just a workhorse championship where it's all about what happens in the ring. I don't mind if there's a title or two that's not based around a story, as long as the matches are bangers and memorable and stuff. I do feel bad for Dakota Kai, like she, fell short both times. Even then, also last year in the King of the Ring tournament, she lost to Lyra Valkyrie. So I would like to see Dakota Kai get her chance, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon now that she's already lost twice. So, but she would be, to me, Dakota Kai would be the perfect, because she is fan favorite in a way, but she's never gotten over that hump. She would be the absolute perfect Money in the Bank winner for this year, I think.
Yeah, it makes you curious because Dakota Kai really does put on a good performance, and not just from a standpoint of like performance as in wrestling, but her character, the way she interacts with the crowd, and just it's the little stuff that you do in the ring that really matters too, especially for the women, and she really does get the crowd into it, and she does a great job. So I don't know what happened. I don't know where she went and why she went the direction she did, what they're planning on doing, but it does kind of make you wonder.
Yeah, I think they paused things too because Asuka and Kairi Sane are both out, so kind of had to switch things up a little bit, just pairing Io with Dakota for the time being.
That's true.
So as we go to commercial break, we're watching this women's match. So let's go. So we talked about that. What do you call it? Bianca won the Rumble or won the Elimination Chamber. She's going to go on to face the winner of tonight's match. Great chamber match. I think, I was surprised to see Bayley get out first. It did seem like the crowd was most interested in a Alexa Bliss. I would love to see Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan as a fan. That would be fantastic. Those two in the ring would be kind of a dream match for me. But so let's go next. So the next match on the card was a tag team women's match. And of course, obviously, this was the least important match on the show. But you had Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton take on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. And it was a match. I think we can agree it was a great pay-per-view, but that match was only done to number one, to see Tiffany Stratton be with a Hall of Famer, just to get that exposure in Trish's hometown with her family there. That's really all it was about, to make it be believable that she would have a chance to defeat the robot Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. But we'll see. I don't see. So it was a whatever match for me. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really, wasn't that interested at all. But I wish they would do more with Candice and stuff. But they got a match on a pay-per-view, and I hope to all hopes that Tiffany finds a way to defeat Charlotte at WrestleMania. I feel like people wouldn't hate on her so much if they didn't just automatically put her in every single title match all the time. There's nothing wrong with her having a feud with someone not over a title. It's not the worst thing in the world. But what are your thoughts on that tag match? And do you see Tiffany having a chance to defeat the robotic Charlotte Flair, uninteresting Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania?
I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum there. I loved it. I loved it because it did bring back some nostalgia. Besides that, though, to be a little unbiased, I loved it because Tiffany really is starting to shine. I think she's amazing. If there is somebody to beat Charlotte Flair, I think she should be the one. She's very up and coming. I know that she's had her struggles and her issues, but I think she deserves it now. I think she's come a long way for sure. A lot of improvements.
Yeah, I think
A lot.
Yeah, no, and I definitely didn't hate it. I think Tiffany Stratton showed in that match with Becky Lynch a couple of years ago that when no one really knew who she was, that she could do what Charlotte Flair does and better. She can she can take bumps in the ring. She knows what she's doing. Her moonsault is better. So I feel like if Charlotte Flair does the right thing and puts over Tiffany Stratton, and then even if Charlotte were to beat her, maybe at Backlash or something, I would be okay with that. But let Tiffany have that big win. I feel like it'd be a failure for her to cash in the Money in the Bank after all that time, hold the title for a cup of coffee, and then lose it to Charlotte Flair next month already. That would suck, I think.
Yeah.
So I think let her get that big win, and then you can give Charlotte the title back if you just feel like you have to give her a title every chance you can get. But let her get that WrestleMania win. Make the reign feel important, but unless she beats Charlotte, it doesn't. But I definitely agree that Tiffany Stratton, she has as long as they don't do the Barbie route as much, because she can go in the ring better than almost anyone. That's how highly I think of Tiffany Stratton. But
that's what, her performances.
Yeah, just like we always say with Seth Rollins, can we please have him once in a while come out in normal human being clothes? He looked like those pants he had on last week was ridiculous, like parachute pants. You can't take him seriously when he comes out dressed like the way he is,
does his wife shop? Does he, when he goes to buy his wife clothes, does he buy the same clothes? Do they share clothes?
They get a buy one, get one free, I guess.
I think it's funny because so many people make fun of that. His ring entrances, when is he going to stop wearing his wife's clothes? When's it, stop being a cheapo.
What's funny though is because he's technically a heel, but he gets cheered all the time. He does heel-like things, but he gets cheered all the time because they love singing the song. So it's almost like the song is the good guy and Seth Rollins is the bad guy. But
he became a heel. It's funny because you can't tell. There's no way to know.
Most people, he's a good guy and the fans love him, which they do. But
yeah, they were chanting "Thank you, Seth," because he took out, who was it? It was who was it? When he slammed somebody into the into one of the chamber glass, the chamber glass. Who was that? And they were like, "Thank you, Seth." I think it might have been Cena. Maybe not. I don't know, but they were like, "Thank you." And
I do like that they're getting enough time for this match. It is a pretty good match so far. I'm not hating on it too much. I think what it is with Ivy Nile, it's just okay, I just don't have a reaction. Kind of like the Pure Fusion Collective. They released Sonya Deville, and they've done nothing with the other two since she's been released, and there's really no interest to care.
Yeah.
Wow, she is really wrenching back on that ankle. Maybe that's how she loses here, is maybe she gets disqualified because she keeps not breaking the 5 count or something. Maybe that's the way they go.
Yeah, because I think they want to start, and they have been pushing her. They've been pushing her. And if she loses here, where do they go? Like you said, where do they go from here with her? But if they do some sort of disqualification, that still leaves room for a lot of things to happen. Oh.
Yep.
What is the craziest move or stunt that you saw from, and I know I keep bringing it up because it's the most recent event, but what is the most craziest or like wow factor as far as like a move goes from the Elimination Chamber for you?
For me, so I'm gonna put the result here in the thread here, and then I will answer that question in just a second.
That was actually a really decent match for sure.
Yeah, I was happy with that. I think they got just enough time. Where Ivy Niles goes from here, I'm not sure, but so we got the results there. CM Punk calls out Seth Rollins, Gunther defeats Otis, and Lyra Valkyria defeats Ivy Nile. So your question was, what was the one spot that of all from both Elimination Chamber matches you'd say, or any match?
Any match, like the most wow factor moment or move that you saw and was like, oh, that was perfect.
So, in the matches itself, I would say the hair whip spot from Bianca Belair to Liv Morgan, because that echoed across the entire arena. That was an instant welt to the back. Like that was absolutely brutal. So that would be one, and then the other one would be in the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match. They set up the chair with the barbed wire, and then Kevin Owens went back first into it and stayed there. And so that would be it for me. Probably that would be one, and then the hair spot number two, I would say.
I that's funny because I was going to say the same thing. Actually, so the hair whip, and then when Sami Zayn, I think it was Sami Zayn picked Kevin Owens up, and Kevin Owens picked Sami Zayn up and had him up over the shoulders, kind of like a jackhammer type thing, and drove him like shoulder first into the chair that was set up. That was really brutal.
Yes, that's another good one too. Yep.
That looked like it. That was so believable, and I know they take care of each other. Obviously, Kevin Owens is well known to be one of the best to work with, and being safe and everything. But wow, man, that was like,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Now, I'm not saying it was fake barbed wire because I've seen them use real barbed wire a lot, but I feel like they probably make it where it's like there's no benefit of permanently injuring someone where they can't compete either. So there were spots where I feel like if it was 100% real barbed wire, his shirt would have stuck to it a little bit more. It seemed like it was painful, but it was almost like taped down to the chair so much that it didn't like pull into their skin or pull into the clothes as much. So that's a good thing. You're protecting your.
This is so good. This is so good. It's almost comedic. That's great. That is great.
They're going to fight the whole night, and I think just they're going to give him a WrestleMania match at some point. But it's coming, and I feel like Seth deserves a singles main event match at Mania, and so does Punk in terms of main event. But I feel like Roman will get intertwined into that somehow, because Roman's been announced for 2 European dates, so he's coming back. So because they've already announced him for 2 European shows.
Yeah, he's coming back eventually. I don't know if he'll get involved in WrestleMania though. I just feel like I feel like his run with the title was so long. I think a lot of people were just now I know that there are a lot of people that disagree too, but I think it got stale or people were ready. I mean, I know most people were probably ready for a title change and they were sick of seeing the same champion for year in and year out. And only there for one match out of every 6 months or so. It got tiring.
Yeah, it gets tiring for sure. And
I'm so glad that they're pretty much done with the bloodline thing, and everybody's kind of off doing their own thing now. I love it. I really do.
Yeah, I think it ran its course. It was very successful, but if they would have went on any longer, it would have been like the NWO Black and White Wolfpack stuff that just went on way too long, where they just invited everyone in to be in the group.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So definitely feel, but just wanted to, while we're in commercial break, give a shout out. Thank you guys so much we have 55 people watching right now through X. So thank you guys for joining on. And we just hit the 1,835 mark for subscribers. So hopefully by the end of April, we can have a 2,000 subscriber watch party. So that's the ultimate goal as we get closer. So thank you guys and for watching, and continue to hit that thumbs up. It really helps. I see Brian Anderson is here, just hit a thumbs up. So thank you so much. And just a quick preview of what's to come on the channel. So we will not be live this coming Sunday. I will actually be out of town. So that'll be the first Sunday we're not live. But in its place, this coming Thursday night, we will be live and doing something we've never done on the show. We're actually going to be doing our first NHL hockey episode. So we're going to be covering the Edmonton Oilers on Thursday night. And so I'll have to catch up a little bit on my hockey knowledge. But the Edmonton Oilers, they're having a good season. Apparently, they are in second place. So we're going to be having the folks over at Oil on White podcast, over almost 4,000 followers on X. So they've got a great thing going on there. So we're going to have them on Thursday night, 8 o'clock, and we're going to get to know him a little bit, get to know the channel, and a little bit about some hockey. So I'm interested to hear about that. Hockey is always something I've always wanted to kind of get more into, even more so than the NBA. So that'll be a fun conversation. And of course, continue watching along the 30 Parks in 30 Days series. We just released episode 6 today, 30 straight days of content all the way up until opening day. So today's episode was the Chicago Cubs. So tomorrow, day number 7, we'll be releasing the Toronto Blue Jays. So that'll be next, talking Blue Jays baseball, previewing their season, their roster, all that good stuff. So a lot of content coming your way. But we are back now on the show. One thing I do like about this we're on Netflix is they can kind of end it whenever they want, right? So like I think they found their happy spot in the 2.5 hour window, which I think is a good time. They don't always have to go the full 3 hours. So I do like that. And just for transparency here, what we've been doing here, on, some rare exceptions, Rob is typically go live until around the 9:30 mark. Just to for the purpose of time and whatnot. There will be times where we'll stay on the entire evening, and we won't cut off in the middle of a match or anything like that. But ideally, we'll cut off somewhere in that 9:30 range. So we'll stay live until then, for sure. So, but and we
Unless
see
something
Joe
crazy happens, then
yes,
then you kind of got to follow through.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Showing that again, so that's always a good thing. But and Joe Alessandro, glad to see you on with us as well. Very excited. In 2 weeks, we'll be going to see the Mets and the Tampa Bay Rays spring training. So super excited for that on St. Patrick's Day. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yep. So they're kicking Seth Rollins out of the arena.
It'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're gonna show like clips the next day where they're just randomly showing up in different spots around the town fighting.
Oh.
Here we go. There we go.
Madison Square Garden steel cage match. Now I will be on the cruise, so I won't be able to do a live Raw thing. Hopefully, I can get the Netflix on where I'm at, but probably not. But that is a must not miss. That is what that tells me, Rob, is that they're going to include Roman Reigns in the match at WrestleMania, because if they're having match number 2 at Madison Square Garden
Yep.
inside of a steel cage, then that tells me that something even bigger is planned for WrestleMania. So
If you really pay attention, I think you're getting a lot of answers tonight for sure. Especially with the main event with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I think there's more to that than what we saw. Obviously, we'll see more this coming Friday. We'll figure out a little more, but I think we're gonna see some crazy stuff happen.
yeah, no, I agree. Cody team up. Oh, I like that. People are saying now. Want to hear your thoughts on this? I know we got Ludwig Kaiser in the ring, but people are saying on social media right now that you do Roman and Seth instead at Mania. You do the CM Punk thing here, CM Punk Seth Rollins match here next week, but you go Roman versus Seth at Mania. But then here's what's interesting: you have Cody versus Cena night 2, but on night 1 you have CM Punk and Cody Rhodes against John Cena and The Rock, night 1 main event of WrestleMania. It could happen. I mean, it is a bit out there, but that seems to be a popular thing right now. But talk about 2 great main events. Now, do we want to see? It's basically like the same thing they did last year, but I mean, what to have Roman? I mean, what a dream match that is. Roman, or potentially having. I'm sorry, not Roman. Cody Rhodes, CM Punk versus those 2, Punk or John Cena and The Rock. That'd be incredible. So,
one of the greatest feuds, one of the greatest rivalries, CM Punk and Cena. So that wouldn't surprise me to kind of end his farewell tour with one last feud with CM Punk, and then obviously with The Rock and Cody Rhodes, with that being the hottest story right now, and you couldn't ask for anything better.
Yep, no, you can't.
And here's Penta.
Oh man, he's just getting better each and every week. But that looks fantastic. But I love the fact that he's only been a month in and he's in a feud. Like that's something AEW could not figure out, is how do we get Penta in a feud where he's not just wrestling every week.
He's so quick and agile. I love his Penta driver. It is.
Yep.
That's one of the best moves.
I would love to see Pete Dunne here, but he's probably not going to happen. Looks like they're going to keep it with these 2. But how good does that look with that jacket with the 0 on the back?
And the fact that I love this because I'm not a big Ludwig fan, so
I saw him in Melbourne a couple of years ago at an NXT show, and the crowd loved to boo the crap out of him. But
I mean, at least he's getting some kind of heat.
Yeah.
He's got a very he's got one of those faces that you just love to hate.
So nothing really I mean, to be able to get that height wearing jeans, that's incredible. Like, let alone in the tights, but to do that with jeans on, how is that possible?
He's incredible, man.
Looks like he messed up his back there a little bit. He keeps holding his back, I've noticed. So not much coming out of that. I mean, it was a nice little thing, but nothing really to build off of.
This is interesting. This is interesting.
You got Natalya talking in the background. She's not going to talk about it. That's a little messed up. We need answers here. We need answers. Can't not talk about it. Oh, but
I feel like
they're not
that's
gonna
on
talk about it.
purpose.
Yeah,
They've got to leave it up for the story.
yeah.
I've always wondered, is that her real hair? All of it. Or is that an extension?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good question. And I want to shout praise here to. I mean, there's a lot of people come and go, and she doesn't get the recognition. But what Kathy Kelly does deserves a lot more credit. She is very good at what she does. She conducts interviews very, very well, and whatever they ask of her to do, she does it well. So I do enjoy seeing her on the TV.
She is a very good interviewer. I've known one of the best to for sure. When you think of a lot of people interviewing, like Mean Gene was a good one. He did a lot of great backstage interviews, I think.
Yeah,
There's not too many people when you think of backstage interviewers. There's not too many people that pop up in mind.
no, not too many. Byron Staxton feels like he's been there forever and ever. So
Yeah, I'm glad they brought a new face in. They needed that.
yep. So but what do you call it? So as we go to a commercial break, I'm going to take a quick second. I'm going to run and grab something. We'll take a quick pause. But as soon as I get back here in about 30 seconds, I would like to talk about the men's chamber a little bit and the whole situation with CM Punk. With John Cena, The Rock, and all that good stuff. So we'll pause, guys, here for about 30 seconds. Rob will stay here just for a minute, and I'll be right back, and we'll dive into that.
Actually, I'm going to take this second to grab something to drink too. All right, guys, don't tell Mike, but I'm taking over. I'm taking over the entire channel. This is now my channel. And we're coming at you live from the heart of Florida. Oh, what's up, Mike? You heard nothing.
No, actually did not hear anything.
Oh, okay, good.
So we're talking about the men's chamber from last night or from Saturday night. So were you surprised? I guess my first question, were you surprised how quickly Drew McIntyre was eliminated? He was the first one eliminated. He was eliminated before all the entrants even came into the match with a roll up again. And then the same thing, Damian Priest eliminated right afterwards. So we never got all 6 people in the chamber. Were you surprised about that?
Yes and no. It was heartbreaking because I'm not a big Drew fan either. I mean, as far as like character-wise goes, I love Drew. I'm talking from a standpoint of like heel, and I'm talking about getting into the kayfabe, I guess, of it. And I really love to hate him, his character. So, but was I surprised a little? I want to see him win. I think he needs a good win. I think they're building that up, but I'm not sure what they're doing, actually. I don't know. That's a tough question to answer. Am I surprised? Yes and no. Yes and no.
Because
I don't know what the direction is.
So we're getting, that's another match that's made for Mania, basically. It's not official, but we're getting Drew McIntyre, it looks like, against Damian Priest. And a lot of people do not like that. They feel like Drew should have something bigger.
A lot
It
bigger.
is a bit of a knock though on Priest. Like Priest's been putting in the work. Priest's really not doing anything wrong. And if you think about it too, it comes full circle. A year ago, Drew lost his Money in the Bank championship to Damian Priest. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think there's a time and a place. I feel like Drew's had some big matches and some big moments. Sometimes you have to look at a card and go, okay, maybe it's not the most important match, but like when you're building something, like that's a solid match that just enhances whatever night that it's going to be on. So is it a show stealer? No. Is it a match that I really care to see that much? No. But it does, when you look at the broad picture, it's like, okay, that's another banger of a match that's going to enhance something. So, now I know he wasn't in the chamber, but where do you feel, and we'll get back to the chamber in a second, where do you feel that puts Sami Zayn at WrestleMania? What is Sami Zayn going to do? Because is he going to stay injured all the way up and through WrestleMania? Do you think he's going to be carrying Cross? Do you feel like he's going to have a spot? Because I feel like you can't not have him part of WrestleMania.
I think he'll have a spot. I think maybe some kind of interference, or I don't know. I think they need to include him. His injury will probably play a big part in him not like having a full-on match, obviously. But I think an interference, he'll make an appearance or an interference of some sort, or disruption for sure.
Oh gosh,
I just don't know. I don't know where. Maybe during the main event with Cody Rhodes, they're planning on something big. He could be a part of that. Maybe Kevin Owens comes out and tries to, I don't know, ruin Cody Rhodes' shot at winning the main event, and Sami Zayn comes out and protects him again, or protects him basically. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah. This is an interesting vignette here. You cannot fight what you don't understand. You must become Lucha.
Lucha, you must be.
Oh, you just gave him some peso. Okay. Shout out to Mexico. I'll be there on Monday and Tuesday. Woo-hoo. Is that Mr. Fuji? No, can't be Mr. Fuji.
Mr.
Wrong country. But
I actually really like Chad Gable for some reason. He definitely has the Kurt Angle thing going.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I will be in Mexico. He's talking about going to Mexico with the Luchadors. I'll be in Mexico on Monday and Tuesday. So super excited for that. Kathy Kelly also with the different glasses, you're like the ensemble there. We are watching the American Maid is in the ring, and we're waiting on the name change. Are you happy that they changed the name back to War Raiders?
I am. I think it fits them better.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the whole Doom thing, or
Yeah.
the Road Warriors, or who was it? The 8 Ball and
Oh yeah.
Hawk or
Yeah.
whatever.
I still feel like there should be one set of tag team champions because they do not have enough tag teams on each show. Like if you sit there and make a list of the Raw tag teams, you can maybe name 4. So you're a champion of 4. I feel like we should be, utilizing everyone. So
Yeah, they should. The best I think I think you just had a monster of a roster, but the best years for tag teams was like you had Edge and Christian, and you had the Dudleys and the Hardys, and they need to find they have a couple, but they need to find that again somehow.
Yeah,
Those were some of the best matches you'll ever go
Well,
back
they-
and watch.
they had, and oh, shout out to Mom, just joined us. She's on. But they had the Authors of Pain, and for whatever reason, did absolutely nothing with them. Like that's a team that could have been dominant. They were dominant in NXT and never did anything on the main roster. So I don't know why.
I don't know. Very interesting though. Maybe there's less of a focus on the tag teams because it's not as popular. I always used to not. I don't know. It's a love hate thing. You sometimes you love them depending on who's at play. You know, the type of match, the stakes involved, but generally they're just kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, I feel like it when you had the New Day and the Usos, like I felt like it was rejuvenated a little bit, but it's just there's not the excitement in the tag. Like I've seen some banger tag team matches, but there's just not the excitement when they're introduced, when they're brought to the ring, all that sort of stuff. Like you look, the crowd right now doesn't look like they're having a great time. They're just kind of existing. And I don't know what the answer is, other than more stories for the tag teams. A reason why they're fighting each other right now. They only have 4 teams, so they're fighting each other because there's only 4 teams to fight. So that's why I think they need, and I know they've done it already before, but I think that's a case here where you put, you combine the titles once again and have the both teams float amongst both brands. I think that's the way to go.
They have to. They have
like
to.
The DIY versus the direction I would go is the DIY against War Raiders for unification match at Mania, and DIY loses, and then Ciampa goes nuts and goes NXT Ciampa, which is the best heel I think we've seen in the last 20 years. Right now they've got him and Johnny Gargano as heels, but it's just not really working. But we'll see. We'll see you go. Hopefully this is a banger match and gets the crowd popped a little bit here and there. But the amount of strength to do that is insane. And
that has to hurt. It really has to hurt.
Yeah. And shout out, there's still 60 of you on with us right now. So thank you guys for watching. We're watching the War Raiders take on American Made for the Raw. I don't know if I guess it'd be the WWE Tag Team Championship, not the Raw Tag Team Championship. I guess they took the Raw and SmackDown title name away. So, oh, that was brutal, and I'm glad he didn't get hurt because he'd been injured a couple times already. So that could have been really bad. I don't think they're going to be taking the titles back, though.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I don't think they're going to win. I don't see a chance that War Raiders lose the titles tonight. I don't know what that means, but I don't see them losing.
No.
So just kind of finishing up on the Chamber predictions, though.
That's where I was going.
So we talked about McIntyre and Priest. They're going to have a match at Mania. So then where do you see Logan Paul fit into WrestleMania plans? Is it going to be Logan Paul and AJ Styles, it seems to be? I think that's the direction they're going, because we know that Seth's probably going to be involved with Roman and Punk. We know what Cena's doing. So do you feel like that's the direction? It's going to be Logan Paul and AJ Styles?
It has to be. Who else can put on a match like that? I mean, Logan Paul is. You gotta give it up to someone like Logan Paul. I know he's a YouTuber and all this stuff, but he's somebody that's come into the business in 2 years, 3 years, and look what he's doing. Look where how quickly he rose up and all that. He's really good. You got to give him credit where credit's due. But I think him and AJ Styles would be a really good. That would
That's
be
a
a
chance
really good
for
matchup. Yeah.
AJ Styles to prove to everybody, in case they forgot, just how phenomenal he actually is. So Chamber ends. We're down to CM Punk, John Cena, Seth Rollins. Punk eliminates Seth Rollins. We're down to Cena. We're down to Punk. And Seth Rollins gets involved, costs CM Punk to be laid out. Cena puts on the submission hold. Punk passes out. Cena gets the win. So in that moment, so Cena wins. The reality is he's going for number 17 at WrestleMania. And in that moment, I knew something was up because Cena stayed in the ring when Cody Rhodes comes out and then The Rock comes out and they're having their thing, but Cena never left. So I'm like, okay, I still don't see them turning John Cena heel here, but why is Cena still there? And it looked like in the corner, he was just there to cheer on Cody Rhodes, and maybe Cody and Cena would attack The Rock, and then whoever would be, maybe Drew McIntyre or somebody, would sell their soul. I still didn't see it. And then when he goes for that hug, and then you see the throat slash and the demonic eyes and stuff like that. But you still don't realize like this is a big moment that's going to happen, but you still can't believe you're watching it happen. So I was just shocked to see that. And it's like, I feel like I said earlier, we're going to see Cena go back to the light side before the end of the year. But that moment was once in a decade, I would say. Maybe not once in a lifetime, but once in a decade, where you're seeing this guy who, he's the world record holder for Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he's going to turn his back on people. I can't wait for that first interview, and I feel like it's going to get dragged out. We're not going to see it for a while. He's not going to be on SmackDown because he's shooting a movie. We're going to have to wait for that moment, but we'll get it. But we're going to have to wait. Triple H loves the slow build. He loves to plan things out long term. So
I've noticed he takes years, a year, maybe more to really get heat on something. But when he does, he hits it right on the money, usually.
Yep, that is true. What do you call it? Oops. So, and guys, once again, as this tag team title match is going, just look at the bottom of that screen. A shout out once again to Nashville Tax Solutions. Whether you're filing a current year return or need relief from a tax lien or levy, Nashville Tax Solutions has the solution for you. Their team of tax professionals are dedicated to providing personalized solutions tailored to your unique situation. So don't let the tax problems weigh you down, especially that we're in the middle of tax season right now. Contact Nashville Tax Solutions today. They both now have a Palm Bay office and a Fort Pierce office, so that is super cool. But let them guide you to a brighter financial future. And again, that number, you'll see it there at the bottom of the screen, but that number here for both their Palm Bay and their Fort Pierce office is 1-855-627-4829, or you can check out their website at NashvilleTaxSolutions.com. And so we're back to the match here, and both are in the ring. Is that Julius Creed? Looks like, yeah. Oh, only a 2. And so we will stay live here through the duration of this match before we call it a night. So it's just a little bit past 9:30, but we're going to stay with you guys here until the result of this match takes place. And we will also, guys, I was thinking about doing it here, but I think instead we'll have a separate episode and Rob, I'm sure you'll be down for it. And we'll let you know. But we're going to be putting out an early WrestleMania prediction show, not just the matches that have been confirmed and what we think is going to happen, but how the card shapes out, what else is going to fill the card. So be on the lookout for that. But it'll be straight up WrestleMania prediction 2025 show. See how things go.
Yeah, I think with it being the road to WrestleMania, you have to have that. And it's so hard because you're going to have a show like that. It's so hard to throw out ideas and opinions now because you don't want to cover too much. You want to leave a lot of the juice for just a standalone episode. So I'm trying not to say too much, but I just know that there's going to be just from what I've seen and kind of how I kind of know how Triple H likes to work. I can see certain things, and it's just I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Oh, that was a close two. Not surprised. I looked like it was going to be a title change there, but
yeah, and to kind of touch up on the Chamber thing too, with Randy, especially Randy Orton. I know I don't want to talk about too much, but what do you do now? He's back. Obviously he doesn't have a match at WrestleMania, but I mean he did look up at the sign, and he got involved in a very heated debate, a very heated rivalry right there. So what do you say? What are your thoughts on that? Like, how can you not? I don't know. I see it happening. I see him WrestleMania, the punt, it's going to be, he puts Kevin Owens out for a while, and then Owens comes back, and then they have the next year WrestleMania, they have their feud. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. That'll be a match at WrestleMania. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some sort of stipulation, I'm sure, too. Definitely. Yeah, I can't see them not going that direction for sure.
Now it's my turn to put you out. Like, you put me out for this amount of time, and yeah, it's going to be so awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So, what did I want to say? Video. What is that? It's weird. Okay. So yes, the War Raiders here retain the tag team championship. Not a big surprise over American Made. Where do they go from here? I think Chad Gable's going to come back. Very disappointed in his guys, but maybe he'll get some insight while he's in Mexico to, but where do the War Raiders go from here? We're going into WrestleMania. There's no, they get the win here. That's great. But, I wouldn't be surprised. Some titles, Shinsuke Nakamura is another example where you forget that he's a United States champion sometimes. You don't even remember that because, so as good as some of the top stuff is, where they fall short is how do they build on the undercard and make it feel a little bit more important than it is. So any final thoughts, Rob, before we shut this down? I know there's still some time to go, but just for the purpose of time, we're going to end things here. But any final thoughts on the Chamber or what we've seen so far tonight? And final thoughts, prediction. Let's go there. What is your prediction later on tonight? Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Where do you think that's going to go?
Ooh, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Who is Bianca Belair going to choose? And oh my goodness, I think Bianca's going to go with Rhea, and Io Sky is going to get jealous, and then I think stipulations are going to change. And I really see a triple threat happening, just like you said. That's hard to not see that.
Right, because Bianca doesn't actually even get the opportunity to choose because it's the winner of that match faces Bianca. But
that's right.
Finish. Yeah, so there might be a shady finish to get us there. Or I see EO getting screwed in some way, and then they'll somehow make it right by adding her to the match or something. That's
I
something
do
can-
see that it's going to be Bianca. I think it will be Bianca and Rhea. But
Yeah.
like you said, I can see like there's going to be something that happens and it's going to cause stipulations to change. But yeah, I forgot that she doesn't get to choose. But anyways, yeah.
But no, thank you, Rob, for jumping on with us, and everyone for watching. The 57 of you for watching this episode of Around the Ballpark as we're live streaming Monday Night Raw. So we'll be back here I'll be back 2 weeks from now, live streaming. So again, won't be live next Monday. We'll be on vacation in Mexico, so we'll not be live. But when I get back 2 weeks from tonight on the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, covering all things Monday Night Raw. Hopefully Sheamus is a big part of that show. So until next time, guys, Rob, thank you so much for jumping on, and we'll have to definitely do this again soon.
Thank you.
Said, we'll do the WrestleMania 41 pre-show or pre-game kickoff preview, whatever you want to call it, show. But until next time, guys, we'll see you around the ballpark.